Hi guys, good morning. How are you today? So today we're talking about if you've ever actually tried intuitive eating and you feel like maybe it didn't work for you. Well, today I want to talk about why you feel like maybe it didn't work for you and maybe some of the things that might be going on or might have been happening. So I'm Kelsie, Michaud, health and life coach. So if you come on, please say hello. I'd love to know that you're here. And if you catch the replay, #replay. And also, if you have any questions, pop them in the comments for me so I can answer those questions for you. So, all right. So in this world of dieting, with diets, like we tend to fall on and off that wagon, right? But with intuitive eating, it's not something you can really fail at. And where we fail with dieting is having to actually measure our food and live by these really strict rules and all these standards. So, a lot of times we think if we aren't losing weight while eating intuitively, we feel like it's just not working for us. If we feel like we can't stop eating chocolate cake, we feel like it's not working for us. If we gain weight when we're eating intuitively, again, we feel like it's not working for us. But this is where the magic happens, because I guide you and I guide my clients to release these thoughts and trust their body. They just trust that their body is going to take the lead. So that's the thing with intuitive eating. That's part of it. You have to trust. You have to give up all those strict rules and just trust and let the process happen. Just trust the process. So at some point, you're going to stop eating. You're going to stop feeling satisfied with whatever food you've eaten. At some point, you're going to crave foods you'll crave pizza, right? At some point, you'll crave other foods than pizza. And at some point, you'll be amazed. You'll be absolutely amazed at what your body can do for itself. So today I'm going to address some reasons why you might be struggling with intuitive eating, or maybe at some point you felt like it wasn't for you, or maybe you just, you thought maybe you weren't doing it right. I don't know, but I'm going to address those issues today. And the first one is that maybe you thought intuitive eating wasn't working for you because you can't feel your hunger. Well, if you've been dieting for a really long time, even, you've gotten really used to those external rules. Like, for example, eating by the clock is one of them, rather than actually listening to your internal cues, okay? And on top of that, dieting teaches us to not listen to our hunger and fullness cues and all those signals. Instead, it wants us to focus on the things like the numbers and the portions, right? And the calories and the measurements. And there comes a point where diet culture says that you can't possibly be hungry. And intuitive eating says, but I am. Because with intuitive eating, you're listening to that hunger signal. With dieting, you're not. So, or at least you're ignoring it, or you're overriding it. And you're trying to push it away, but it's still there. So there might be times that maybe you'll eat a big breakfast because, you were just feeling super hungry that morning. And other times you'll feel satisfied with just a smoothie or a protein shake or a piece of toast with some peanut butter. And then sometimes it seems like maybe you can't get full, right? While other times you don't have the appetite. This is all part of normal hunger. Your hunger is not going to be the same every single day, okay? Some days you may wake up and wonder, why the heck am I so hungry today? There's nothing wrong, going on. It's just, it's different. It's different every day, and that's okay. But it's a matter of listening to our body and what it's telling us it wants and needs. So some questions that you can actually ask yourself is, first of all, what does hunger feel like for me? We need to know what that even feels like. If you've been chronic dieting for so many years, maybe even decades, you need to know what hunger feels like. You need to get back to that. And a lot of times we don't know that because we've been dieting for so long, because like I said, we're either ignoring it or overriding it. So getting back to that true hunger signal that we were innately born with, that's number one. And then ask yourself, okay, so what does that hunger feel like for me? Like I know for myself, I feel it in the back of my throat and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely hungry. It's time to eat. Or also ask yourself, okay, am I eating by the clock or am I honoring my hunger? Am I eating just because it's noontime? I'm not even hungry? Or are you eating because you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm feeling hungry, so I think I'm gonna have lunch. It might only be 11 o'clock, but you're hungry, and that's okay, so eat. And another question to ask yourself is, am I listening and trusting my body when it tells me that it needs more fuel? Okay, these are all great questions to ask yourself to get yourself into that natural intuition that you already have, but we've gotten away from it and we're not used to it anymore when we're chronically dieting. So these are some great questions to ask yourself to get yourself back in tune with your body. So another thing that, maybe you think intuitive eating wasn't working for you because maybe you don't know when you're full. Okay, so this is obviously the opposite of knowing that hunger signal, but now we want to know, when the heck are we full? When do I stop so that I don't continually overeat, right? So, some of us grew up with families where you were pressured beyond your fullness, your natural fullness, because you were always told that you have to finish your plate or clean your plate. So for some of us, we just don't feel full unless we're comfortably stuffed. And if you've been dieting, it's like you're just out of touch with your hunger to begin with, or you're just so used to relying on counting the calories and the points and the macros and all of that sort of thing. Okay, so what I do with my clients, and even I practice myself, is I make sure that I chew my food thoroughly, and I try my best to eat without distractions. I try my best. I don't always, but I do try my best. And I eat until I'm satisfied, not stuffed. Okay, more often than not. Since I've been practicing intuitive eating, I hardly eat past fullness anymore. And it's such a nice feeling because I'm able to eat the foods that I absolutely love and adore and enjoy. And I'm eating them in a way that just feels so good to my body, both physically and mentally. Okay, I eat until I'm no longer hungry, and I could eat more, but I recognize that if I do, I'd be too full, and I don't want to feel that way. It's uncomfortable. I haven't felt that way in so long that if I do overeat a little bit, it's that much more uncomfortable now because I don't feel that way that often anymore. So I really don't want to go there, okay? But this doesn't mean that I never overeat, right? I'm human. I'm certain I'm not perfect, and I certainly do at times, especially around the holiday season. I still certainly try my best still around that time. I choose, my best suggestion is just, choose all of the foods that you absolutely love and adore. And that way you're able to eat all of those foods, and then the ones that are just kind of you're not filling up more on ones that you're just like so with. You want to really be satisfied with the foods that you're choosing. So that means that I trust my body to tell me when it's had enough, and I listen to it because, like I said, I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Okay, so that's where we have to get back to knowing when we're full. So maybe you didn't really know exactly when you were full. So it's a practice. This is something that I work on with my clients day in and day out. And it's a practice. It takes time, but you can definitely get there. So, and another one, maybe you thought intuitive eating wasn't working for you because maybe you're using intuitive eating as a weight loss tool. Okay, maybe you're trying to lose weight, and that's okay. And don't get discouraged when I say that. But think about if you're craving a grilled cheese, but you feel like a grilled cheese is just going to be maybe too fattening. Are you still going to eat it? It might make you say, I probably shouldn't have that. So the reason weight loss has to be placed on the back burner just for now is because it prevents you from being able to be in touch with what you actually want to eat, what your body actually wants and craves, okay? You want to be able to just freely give that to your body. And instead of enjoying maybe a cookie or a piece of cake like you may really want to, you're still making all of these food deals because there's that diet mentality. You're making these food deals and promises all in the back of your mind to try and compensate for eating those forbidden foods, right? So we got to get past that. We got to get over that hump, get rid of that diet mentality, which I actually talked about yesterday. So as an example, let's say you ate a bowl of pasta for lunch, okay? And you're craving pizza now for dinner. Well, maybe you feel like this is going to be way too many carbs because you think you're just going to gain weight. So you're refusing, you're telling yourself, no, I'm not going to have the pizza, I'm going to have a salad instead. But what's wrong with having pasta and pizza all on the same day? You have to trust. You have to trust by listening to your body that you will come, because you're going to come to like this natural weight that your body wants to be at. And that's what will eventually happen, okay? It's going to find its happy place. Good morning, Carmelina. How are you? Thank you for coming on. Such a pretty name. Another reason you might think intuitive eating wasn't working for you, maybe because you're still holding on to those diet beliefs. Like I just said, I mentioned yesterday, we talked about getting rid of that diet mentality. Like things like counting carbs or grams of fat, or worrying about whether we're meeting our protein intake, or maybe we're watching our sugar because you want to lose weight. These are all part of diet culture. And this doesn't mean, these things are just easy to let go of. I know they're not. But in a lot of ways, I'm still unlearning the messages that I've grown up with, because really we've grown up with these all the way back from childhood. These thoughts and voices in our head have been with us for a very long time, okay? So just as eating something like a full-fat food, it can be very scary to some of us because we think, oh, no, it has to be low fat or no fat, something like that. And we substitute, right? We substitute with the low fat and the fat-free foods. And some of us do that for a really long time. So you want to make sure that you're actually practicing this self-compassion and showing yourself patience during the process of intuitive eating. But when we're turning to the low-fat options, trying to avoid the full-fat foods, we have to be really careful, because a lot of times what's happening is, well, first of all, let's back up a second. If you think about it, fat tastes good, right? And when they take fat out of a product, they have to put something back in to make the product still taste good, because they still want you to want to buy it, right? They want the consumers to still buy these foods. These food manufacturers know this still better taste good. So otherwise you're not going to want it, you're not going to buy it. So they have to put something else back in there. And a lot of times it happens to be more sugar, chemicals, things like that. Lots of unhealthy things going in. So sometimes you're ending up with a product that is higher in calories than the regular full fat product that you could have had to begin with. Okay, so you got to watch those labels and be really careful about that when you're thinking that you're doing a good thing by choosing a low fat or non-fat item, things like that. Okay, remember, they gotta substitute it with something. So be careful of what they're adding in there, what they're putting in there. So another reason too, you might think that intuitive eating isn't working for you, maybe because you feel pressured to make these like healthy choices all of the time. And intuitive eating, it was difficult for me at first because I still felt so much pressure to just eat the healthy foods. I mean, as a health coach, I'm supposed to eat healthy, right? Which I want to anyway, because I want to be healthy. But this can really trip up some people, because dieting and health, they're usually portrayed as one and the same, right? And it took me a while to realize that I could be healthy without rules and without boundaries around food. I could be healthy even if I didn't eat healthy 100% of the time. So while I know, of course, the benefits of whole foods, and I think that nutrient density is so important, we need to consider the satisfaction factor in the role that self-care actually plays in developing a healthy relationship with food. And intuitive eating is a way to just connect with your own body. It's a set of tools, not another set of rules. Okay, so remember that. And another reason that intuitive eating might not be working for you, or you think it might not, is because you're not giving yourself that unconditional, absolute, full permission to eat anything. Okay? I know a lot of us struggle with that. It's scary. It's a very scary thought because intuitive eating, it may not be working for you if you're denying yourself food, say like after 7 p.m., which is a diet rule, or not allowing yourself seconds, especially if you're still hungry. Your body's trying to tell you something, okay? And there's nothing wrong with enjoying a late night snack or a bowl of popcorn, while you're watching TV or watching a movie. In the same way that there's nothing wrong with going for seconds if you're not completely satisfied yet at that point. And sometimes maybe you just need 2 bites of cake, and sometimes you need 2 slices of cake. It's different all the time, but listen to your body's signals because it will tell you what it needs, okay? And intuitive eating may not have been working for you because maybe you're carrying around these limiting beliefs around food, all right, and your body too, right? So I'm 5'4". I'm a bit shorter than my family members. I think probably the shortest, actually. I got the short end of the stick somehow, but some of the things that you might hear, especially if you are on the shorter side, you shouldn't eat as much as your tall friends, or you need to watch what you eat to avoid, becoming stocky, or you'll gain weight faster than tall people. It's harder for shorter people to lose weight. Short people, they need to watch it. I could go on and on. But, and of course, none of this is actually true, but we will all eat the right amount for our bodies according to our own internal signals when you're eating intuitively, okay? Are you carrying around any limiting beliefs regarding food or your body? Carmelina, I started intermittent fasting as this seems to be the latest fad. Yes, I hear of it a lot, but you're so right. It's so stressful because let me read more. Where did I go? I lost my place. Trying to follow a lifestyle that people go on about how much it's so good for you and how much people lose weight. Yes, I did it and I felt stressed doing it. And so I gave up, didn't lose weight on it. Okay. Is that with the intermittent fasting? You mean you didn't lose the weight? And I tried it a couple times just because I wanted to see what the hype was all about. And I have heard really good studies on it. So I thought, okay, let me try it. Let me see. And for myself, I've heard that, I know for some people it works. And again, everybody's different. There's literally over 100 diets out there, even more. And not one diet works for everybody because everybody's so different. But I thought, okay, let me try this intermittent fasting. And for myself, I didn't notice any difference at all. Yes, with intermittent fasting. Okay. Yeah, and everybody's different. And so like I said, I tried it. I didn't notice any difference at all. But I think because I'm already I already eat really healthy. And the only thing I was doing was just delaying the time that I would start eating. And to me, I would be hungry in the morning, and I felt like, okay, I'm ignoring my hunger signal right now. That is not eating intuitively. I'm not listening to my body. I'm trying to ignore it and override it. So it got to the point where I was like, yeah, you know what? After about a month, I'm like, I'm going to go back to just listening to my body again. And everything still stayed the same. Nothing changed for me one way or the other than just I was hungry waiting to eat. So that was my own personal experience. Everyone's is different. But yeah, it's a matter of, for our own selves anyway, it really is a matter of figuring out exactly that combination that works just right for your unique body, right? How balanced your meals and your snacks are, the timing of them, when you need to eat them, things like that. They all come into play. All of that comes into play, and how much sleep we're getting, the quality of our sleep, that comes into play too. That can mess with us, and that can mess with our hormones. There's a lot at play here, but it's a matter of finding out what works just for you, because everybody's so uniquely different, which is so wonderful. But we all have our own thing which is really nice with intuitive eating, because it is just about listening to your own body. So it's uniquely all about you, right? Okay, so another reason is that, maybe you didn't think intuitive eating was working for you, because maybe you might be someone who's recovering from an eating disorder, okay? And some people can just slowly ease into intuitive eating. Well, a lot of other people who are in recovery, they need more time to kind of work through those food rules, and hunger and fullness and And all of those, a lot of these principles that they just need more time to work through. Let's see, Carmelina, there's so much information out there. Yes, I hear that a lot about when to eat, what to eat, supplements, etc. And it gets so confusing. And yes. Everyone is unique for sure. So I'm trying to find what works for me. Yes. And that's just it. And I love that you're trying to find what works for you, because it's almost like our body, like when you try the intermittent fasting, our body's like an experiment lab almost. So yeah, we try it, we see what happens, and then we see if it works for us or not. And if it doesn't, okay, we move on. But the thing is that we don't want to be jumping from diet to diet, because that's where the yo-yoing comes into play, right? And then that's not healthy for our bodies either. That can cause health issues, actually, like fatty liver for one. Good morning, Christine. How are you? So yeah, it is a matter of finding what exactly is unique to your own body. So, Carmelina, if you'd like to chat at any time, let me know. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to chat with you. So, yeah, people who are coming from an eating disorder who want to eat intuitively, it just might take them more time to actually work through these principles and get rid of those diet rules and that diet mentality. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, and it's because it's not a race. It's not a race to the finish line. So my advice is just to continue to keep showing up for yourself and show yourself compassion and patience along the way. All right. And that's part of self-care, you know, being kind to yourself. And if you feel more comfortable with a meal plan to start and, you know, a bit more structure with intuitive eating to feel a little more safe, then that's totally fine too. You know, it's about what works for you. Okay. And another reason you might have thought that intuitive eating wasn't working for you is maybe you just weren't ready. Maybe you're just not ready at that particular time. So intuitive eating, it's not easy. You know, it takes time. And when you're coming from a place of chronic dieting, especially, you know, even when I first discovered it, you know, I wasn't really ready to hear the messages. They all sounded really nice. But, you know, with all that diet mentality floating around in there, it's like, it's just so hard to just let go and let it be and to trust, right? And, you know, it's almost like you feel like you're giving up in a messed up way, kind of. And even though you may realize diets don't work and you cannot continue, you know, going on that way because it's just not a healthy way to live, you may not be ready to actually take that next step. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. So, my hair's driving me nuts this morning. That's the thing about a live is you can see yourself and it's not always a good thing. But just know that you can try it at any time. Like I said, like our bodies are like experiment labs. Try it, and if it's not working for you, then you can return to it at any time that you'd like to, because you're the boss and you can do what you want, right? And my last one, I believe this is my last one. You may think that intuitive eating isn't working for you because maybe you're just feeling a little stressed. You're stressed out, so you're not like feeling like you can give it your all, right? In intuitive eating, it's not going to work if you're stressed out, because it could be for a number of reasons. You know, if you're stressed, your hunger and fullness signals are going to be a little out of whack. And short-term stress actually reduces your appetite, but chronic stress tends to actually increase it. Okay, it ups that appetite. Plus, if you're feeling stressed on a regular basis, it's a sign that you're unbalanced somewhere. Okay, we want to get you back into balance, nice and even. And there might be some unbalance somewhere going on in your life, and possibly maybe you're not taking enough time for self-care. Carmelina, what are your thoughts on supplements? Maybe intuitive supplement taking. Yes, I'm not big on supplements. To me, whole foods is like the way to go. As far as supplements, I do feel like, you know, like a probiotic and digestive enzymes, those kind of things are great for gut health, because, you know, they say your gut, there's so much science now out there that your gut is like your second brain. So getting your gut into balance and getting all those healthy bacteria in there is really, really a great thing to do. I recently started taking probiotics and some digestive enzymes to get myself back, just, you know, nice and back on track, and some essential oils, which I actually, I'm a rep for doTERRA essential oils, And I've been taking those, and those are amazing because they work on a cellular level, which means they go in and they actually change the cell. So for whatever issue you have going on, there's an oil for everything, which is what I'm learning. And every time my husband says something, I'm like, oh, I have an oil for that. And he's like, oh, of course you do. So we can talk more. Oh, I love it. I love that you use doTERRA. I'd love to know what you use and what you're using it for specifically. I have my nice warm cup of water this morning. I threw like the kitchen sink of oils in it today. I have a little of everything. I think I have grapefruit, I have Slim and Sassy, which Slim and Sassy is a blend to begin with anyway, so there's a bunch in that. Then peppermint and lemon. So it's really good. I love it. So just bought Zendocrine oil and had a drop. Yes, Zendocrine is awesome. Really, really good. I'm glad you're using that. So yeah, and I'm actually using them for my thyroid as well. There's a specific thyroid protocol, and I'm using that. And I have a client who's using that as well for her thyroid. Copaiba, yes, Copaiba is amazing, absolutely amazing. I've been telling another client about that one, and we're hopefully going to get her set up with that because it's going to be really, really good stuff for her. So that's how I feel about supplements. I don't feel like I'm not one on big on taking pills or over the counter stuff, but since I discovered doTERRA, it did remind me that I need to get my gut health in good order. So that's why I'm taking the probiotics and the digestive enzymes, which we can get from our food, but sometimes we need just that little extra support. So yeah, the thyroid protocol, it's actually a blend that I created and put into a little roller bottle. I believe there's myrrh, frankincense, what else is in there? Marjoram. I can't even think what else. There's a couple of them. There's quite a few, and I put them in a roller bottle. And I roll it right on my thyroid. I also roll it on my adrenals, which are on our back, and on the bottom of my feet, because there's actually reflexology points, which Christine, if you're still listening, reflexology was the word I was thinking of yesterday. And I roll that on the reflexology points that are for specifically where your thyroid would be on my feet. And I do that every morning and night. And you can literally do it up to 2 hours because it takes 2 hours for the oils to metabolize out of your body. So I'm doing that because I refused medications from my doctor when I first found out that I have this hypothyroid. And I told him, nope, no medications, I'm good. So I'm doing this, and we'll see what happens. My doTERRA rep actually, she has Hashimoto's, and she did the thyroid protocol, continues with it, but she was able to reduce her meds by half by doing this. So that's my goal as well. And of course, with incorporating a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle, which I think always comes first, and then introduce the oils or a supplement to help support that healthy lifestyle. So yeah, and if you'd like to talk further at any time, let me know. So yeah. So these are my reasons why I think that maybe if you've tried intuitive eating and you thought it didn't work for you, these are all these really different reasons. There's so many different reasons why maybe it didn't work 100% for you. Okay, so if you are interested in maybe trying to become an intuitive eater and you want to stop overeating, which it will help you do, and stop you from restricting, which it will help you do, and of course binging, we don't want to binge, and that will help you with that as well. I'd love to be able to help you out. I actually have a 4-week program where I help you with all of this, helping you, to honor that hunger and respect that fullness so that you're not overeating or restricting or binging. And I'm actually running a Black Friday special. It's a 2-day special. You have me one-on-one, 100% full attention on you for 2 days, going over this, learning how to just stop overeating so that you can get back to your body's natural hunger signals and eat for true hunger rather than for emotional reasons or because you're bored or you're tired. And then stop eating when you're actually comfortably full and not overeating, but not feeling deprived or starved or any of those awful effects from dieting. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, or if there's if you'd like any more details or information about my programs, just let me know. I'll be posting more about them, but you can always PM me directly to find out for yourself any information. So if there's no other questions right now, I am going to hop off. Oh yes, I'm checking the time. I have a client in a couple minutes. But later this morning, I also want to tell you guys I'm doing an interview with one of my clients today, and I'm so excited to get this interview out there to you guys. She went through the whole intuitive eating, learning to eat intuitively. And I'm excited for you guys to hear the journey that she took and the process that she went through to go from, an emotional eater all the way to just eating intuitively and being free and happy. And in a good place now. She came to that magical place with me. I call it a magical place because it is. I love it. It feels so good. So I'm excited to hopefully have that uploaded for you guys by the end of the week. So, all right. So that's about it. That's all I have for you today, for this morning anyway. And I will be back tomorrow. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.